we can see that for a long period, I should say more than 2000 years, nothing has been changed according to teaching theories. Plato said that teaching a child, it was almost as teaching an adult. And during 2000 years, up till the French Revolution, that Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, it's different, teaching a child for teaching an adult. Because they are in different stage of life cycle and they understand in different way. But what doesn't Jean-Jacques Rousseau didn't say that is the same approach as when we are teaching an adult, depending on the stage of learning one process. If he is learning one, let's say, scientific area for the first time, is more or less like a child facing that subject. And if he just knows, let's say, an important amount of information about this, he will have another different approach. But only when in the end of the 19th century won't start to think about scientific psychology, really the education science approach starts. Different learning stages according to the learning and teaching theory. Let's say that our students or our child, to be under a learning process, there are several steps to do. One is modeling. In this moment, we should define rules and how to behave in the learning process. After, we start teaching and coaching, giving lessons, giving information, and giving techniques, learning how to do things and learning deeply the knowledge. Finally, we have to scaffolding, giving support, and self-learning. According to the theory, the main education science theories, we have behaviorism, we have cognitivism, we have pre-constructivism and constructivism. This means that the knowledge stages are know how to behave, knowledge knowing and knowledge doing, knowledge the processing, and self-learning. This is really the evolution or going through behaviorism to cognitivism and constructivism. Let's have a look now about the learning theory, let's say the main steps. Behaviorism with Watson, it was, let's say, the classic approach in the beginning of the 20th century, 1913. And Skinner, it was the second step, an important step in the middle of the 20th century with operating behaviorism, reinforced theory, the teaching machine, which is a very important step in the ending of the Second World War, because there were no teachers. Most of the young people coming out from the war, they know nothing about taking a gun in their hands, and they need to be taught about civil skills. And it was an important approach, the teaching machine theory. Bloom in 1966, Miller, Vygotsky, and Piaget. And all with the all new techniques and information theories and tools, the constructivism show up with Schott, Moore, Thompson, Gates, Boyle, and Ganke. We'll not lose much time about this subject because in this conference we will go to another way. Now we